You learn to be good, to play fair, to do the right thing, even when it hurt. But what if I told you that's why you're losing? Because while you hold on to your values like shields, the world outside is sharpening its knives. Niccolò Machiavelli did not view morals as virtues. He viewed morals as instruments, potentially lethal in the hands of the uninformed, formidable in the hands of the calculated. In his greatest work, The Prince, he penned, "A man who desires to make a profession of goodness in everything is certain to come to ruin among so many who are not good." That's the world you're in, a world where lies get people elected, where compassion is exploited, and where the folks shouting virtue tend to wear masks covering their worst intentions. So if you wish to thrive in this world, not merely live, but rule, you must incinerate the script they wrote for you. The one that read, "Be good and good things will occur." Because the reality? Goodness without power is a snare. Let us start with the first level of Machiavellian reality, how morality is turned against you. A moral man utters, "I never lie. I never betray. I do to others what I would like them to do to me." It's a nice ring to it. To a manipulator, though, that's a cheat sheet. They know precisely how to manipulate you. Your code is their map. When your principles are rigid, your opponents do not have to defeat you, just pin you in. You'll be too faithful to quit, too generous to strike back, too truthful to defend yourself. As you hurt for your morals, they gain from your suffering. And Machiavelli's answer, never reveal your entire hand, never give away your lines. Be versatile, be impenetrable. Power does not go to the most moral, but to the most volatile. Machiavelli never instructed, be evil. He instructed, seem good. It is best to appear to be moral, rather than to be moral. For appearances foster trust, while actual morality tends to constrain action. He stated, it is unnecessary for a prince to have all the good qualities, but it is very necessary to appear to have them. So you don't lie for nothing. You lie in order to control the frame. You don't forgive unconditionally. You forgive in order to advance your agenda. You wear morality as a costume, not because you believe in it, but because the world believes it. The trick is optics. People believe what they see. They trust the mask. That's why the most dangerous manipulators smile the brightest. That's why the kindest-looking leaders carry the sharpest knives. Here's where it gets dark. Guilt isn't just an emotion. It's a weapon, and it's often wielded by those who are afraid of your independence. They say, if you were a good person, you'd do this. What they're saying is, stay small, stay obedient, don't rise above me. You need to learn to challenge guilt. Ask yourself, did I violate a true rule, or someone's illusion about me? Machiavelli would never explain himself to anyone morally. He changed the whole discussion. You don't say, I had to do it. You say, I did what needed doing. You don't justify your loyalty. You say, loyalty doesn't mean self-sacrifice. You don't plead for understanding. You tell people, my results speak louder than your feelings. This is the essence of Machiavellian ethics. You don't destroy morality. You employ it. You show sympathy while gathering data. You extol fairness while fixing the game. You seem generous while increasing control. This is not hypocrisy. This is survival. Since in a world where everyone is pretending, the greatest actor gets the prize. And ethics? That's the best role you can act. A prince must not mind incurring the charge of cruelty, Machiavelli wrote, when it is necessary. That's the line most people fear to cross. But the fact is, cruelty without purpose is barbaric. Kindness without strength is weakness. Your ethics must be tools, not chains. Be feared when needed. Be kind when it benefits you. Forgive when it secures loyalty. Every act must serve the outcome. If honesty enhances your power, be honest. If deceit protects your legacy, be deceptive. Situational ethics are not evil, yet they're strategic. We live in the age of image, headlines, reels, tweets. What feels true wins over what is true. So Machiavelli would say, are you driving the narrative? When attacked, don't engage on their terms. Change the subject. Discredit their certainty. Say, you're really upset about this. Or, that's your account. Make morality uncertain. Uncertainty, silence. Silence power. Humans follow confidence. They defer to mystery. They comply with that which they cannot comprehend. The most lethal tool in the Machiavellian arsenal is latent ruthlessness. Play the part. Be the saint. Turn the other cheek. Make them feel safe. Then strike when they least suspect. Because the longer you appear moral, the more effective your turn becomes. Make them believe you've forgiven. Then eliminate them in silence. Make them believe you're loyal. Then betray them publicly. Your shadow should emerge only after they've lowered their guard. This isn't about being heartless. It's about being selectively principled. Be generous, but only if it increases loyalty. Be fair, but only when it takes nothing from you. Be merciful, but only when your opponents are already defeated. Tailor your ethics to the second. Don't be idealistic. Be influential. Machiavelli knew there's no such thing as right or wrong across all situations. Only what maintains you in power. Let's summarize. Don't share your morals. Arm them. Don't battle guilt. Recast it. Don't shy away from manipulation. Dominate it. Don't try to. Be loved. Set your sights on being respected, and then admire. Because the fact is harsh. The world remembers who played the game, not who died playing by the rules. You weren't born to be a martyr. You were born to reign. So drop the script. Grab the mask. And go out into the world not as someone pleading to be considered good, but as someone strong enough to decide when to be good. This is the Machiavellian morality. And now, it's yours to use. But remember, it doesn't belong to me. It never did. When the world attempts to shame you, don't respond. Reframe. Don't respond to their question. Question their assumption. If someone says, "How could you do that?" reply, "How could I not, considering what's at risk?" You shift the view from feeling to result, from blame to aspiration. You need to become a story tactician. Sow the seeds of your account early and frequently. Make others justify their goodness while you get to dictate the terms of success. Most people live by unwritten bargains they never agreed to. A good friend should. A faithful partner must. These are instruments of control. Machiavellians shred those bargains. They set every relationship on their own terms. Don't be limited by old expectations. Instead, ask, does this belief help me or hold me back? Individuals show their values with judgment. Use their indignation as information. When somebody accuses you of being unfriendly, they've just informed you that they're afraid of becoming detached. When they insist on benevolence, they've revealed a vulnerability to approval. Machiavellians do not explain themselves. They reflect others' requirements and use what those requirements betray. There are 3 masks you need to master. The ally, bring down defenses with empathy. The martyr, play victim when you are actually gaining the upper hand. The judge, stand as the measuring stick others will have to measure up to. Shuffle masks as necessary. Never show the actor behind them. Love, like loyalty, has to be conditional. Anything given without hesitation is easily taken for granted. Make your affection uncommon. Make your approval earned. People cherish what they fear to lose. Machiavellian love is a tactic of loyalty, not a haven. Make them believe you're predictable. Make them believe you're weak. It's the ultimate cover. Don't be the bad guy in their narrative. Be the misinterpreted hero. That's how you win the hearts. That's how you rewrite the script. Real power isn't seen. It's hidden in humility, wrapped in modesty, shrouded in weakness. As soon as you lay your cards on the table, you begin to lose the game. Machiavelli would encourage you to be a master of subtlety, not to abstain from power through cowardice, but to exercise it unobtrusively, in the boardroom, in politics, in romance, The strongest individual is the one who can speak, can strike back, can annihilate, but remain silent. That silence isn't weakness. It's dominance in disguise. All outbursts have to be planned. Indignation isn't for letting off steam. It's for setting the narrative. Anger is a weapon to rewrite the script, change the narrative, and regain moral ground. Machiavellians do not lose their temper. They use it. In public, they indulge in just enough indignation to rile up their base. Behind closed doors, they're icy, scripted, and precise. You have to become a maestro of emotional warfare, never reactive, always strategic. There's a moment to be gracious, but never too early. Mercy is a trap when it is extended too soon. When your foes are at their weakest and the people are calling for mercy, then you exercise restraint, not for them, for your reputation. You hold off your beneficence until it becomes expedient. That's when your forgiveness appears to be strength. Strategic mercy is how despots become darling. An enemy is a present. They enable you to define yourself, to mobilize support, to refine your image. The trick is to keep them near enough to demonize, but not near enough to annihilate you. Machiavelli would counsel, never completely vanquish your enemies if you don't have to. A living foe is more valuable than one that's defeated. They are your opposite, your excuse, your disguise. Once your grip on power is firm, but before it's too late, you have to start the myth-making. You reframe the past. You portray your ascension not as manipulation, but as sacrifice, not as ruthlessness, but as fate. The world is a sucker for a narrative. Provide one. Have history. Remember your actions, not as callous calculation, but as genius misunderstood. Such is the way that Machiavellians attain immortality. At other times, the greatest action is to fall intentionally. When defeat is certain, fall on your own terms. Dictate the collapse. Machiavelli instilled in us that retreat is not defeat if it maintains power. You retreat not because you are weak, but because you are preparing a better advance. And then when you come back, it will be as a savior, not a survivor. Sacrifice is not only a moral deed, it's a show. If you sacrifice something openly, make sure it's seen. Make sure it's remembered. Make your pain their inspiration. Behind the scenes, you're eliminating what does no longer work for you. In the spotlight, you're a tragic hero. Such is the way of building reputations. Even tyrants require redemption, at least the perception of it. The trajectory of a villain who sees the light is irrepressible. You're not only powerful, but forgiven. Not only respected, but loved. Create your own redemption. Make them think you've changed after you've solidified everything that you desired. When you die, what is left? Not your riches, not your successes, your reputation, the legend you built, the ethics you pretended, the empire you constructed in narrative. Machiavelli's true aim was not simply power, but legacy. You have to live and act with death in mind, not as terror, but as possibility. Craft how you'll be remembered now, while you're still in control of the script. The last and most deadly Machiavellian rule. You are the law. No higher morality than the one you decide. No greater loyalty than the one you demand. No more profound truth than the one you inscribe. It isn't about cruelty. It's about clarity. You observe the world as it is, not as they pretend it should be, and you act accordingly. Machiavellian ethics is not a lack of ethics. It is the development of ethics. Ethics tempered in the fire of ambition, honed through strategy and sharpened by triumph. Wear the mask. Be the saint. Conceal your knife. For history does not recall those who were good. History remembers those who performed good best of all. You were not created to be a martyr. You were created to be a king. Let them preserve their chastity. You shall ascend the throne. Reality is irrelevant. Perception is everything. If the people perceive you as being just, fair, and kind, even if you're not, then you succeed. The appearance is greater than the reality. Machiavelli knew that reputations last longer than facts. People don't recall what you have done. They recall how you've made them feel. So develop perception as an artist. Present your enemies as monsters. Present your allies with the notion that they're saints for being with you. Present the crowd with the idea that your ascension is their victory. And when somebody questions truth, drown them in the luxury of your lie. Loyalty is a vanishing ink contract. It lasts only as long as it remains profitable. Machiavelli encouraged leaders to anticipate betrayal, but more crucially, to control it. You control loyalty not through command, but by making it self-destructive to leave you. Give value, of course, but more importantly, make leaving look like self-destruction. Make them need your success. That way, their loyalty isn't a decision anymore. It's survival. Unity is dangerous. When they get together, they're unpredictable. Machiavelli's fix? Split them. Use little rivalries. Fan tiny jealousy. Give favor unevenly. When there are too many busy fighting one another, they won't fight you. Split your opposition into factions. Split your critics from their fans. Split the truth from the story. And most importantly, split yourself from blame. That's how power is left unscathed. Cruelty is not wicked when applied in moderation and for a purpose. Actually, Machiavelli thought that cruelty, when sudden and extreme, brings stability. If you have to hurt someone, hurt them once, jarringly, publicly, and then let the silence lie. People are more afraid of the blade they saw than the blade they fantasize. Calculated cruelty silences resistance before it starts. And if you show leniency afterward, they will get confused between fear and thankfulness. Not all wars are fought with words. Sometimes the greatest play is to keep quiet. Machiavelli respected leaders who knew when to be vocal and when to disappear. Let others be consumed by noise. Let them show their hand, betray their nerves, overplay their part. You say nothing. Remain still. Lethal. For silence not only disarms, it unbalances. And that unbalanced mind is easy to manipulate. The world professes to love honesty, but punishes those who practice it. Machiavelli satirized the theory of the virtuous prince. He taught, you must learn how not to be good. Honesty is a commodity. Use it only where it brings you power. Be honest when honesty enhances your image. Keep quiet when the truth undermines your grip. And lie outrageously when truth undermines your control. Let others be truthful. You, be effective. Redemption is a weapon. One Machiavellians use expertly. When your hands are filthy, when your adversaries have you pinned, when the public will has shifted, redeem yourself. Publicly, tearfully, strategically. Confess, not because you are sorry, but because it wipes the board. Redemption is the ultimate public image wash. One tearful act of repentance can undo 1,000 transgressions if it's choreographed right. They will attempt to establish what's right. Let them. Then reestablish it louder, more articulated, more convincingly. Machiavelli understood that you must control the moral narrative more than controlling the facts. When you control the ethical paradigm, you dictate the public reaction. Now, you're not heartless, you're powerful, not dishonest, merely defensive, not ruthless, merely essential. Control the language, control the legacy. When you know morality as a means, you no longer fear it and begin to use it. Be the one who raises the moral standard, who publicly forgives, who exacts vengeance upon sin with open suffering. Then use that image of virtue as blackmail, threaten banishment, deny favor, publicly forgive. Your foes will struggle to attain the level you created, and once they believe in your righteousness, strike. The perception of goodness makes treachery taste like it came from above. You've learned to pretend to be good, to use guilt as a weapon. to frame the narrative. Now you get to vanish behind your work of art. The last mask is one you never take off. Is that of a virtuous, selfless leader, one who endured criticism, one who made difficult decisions, one who suffered for the masses. Machiavelli's last truth. After you are legend, truth is irrelevant. You do not have to be good. You merely have to have appeared good. The falsehood becomes history. The disguise becomes immortal. You weren't born to live according to their standards. You were born to create your own. Let them whisper. Let them judge. For when the curtain comes down and history starts telling its tale, you won't merely be remembered. You will be revered.